And now for more on the Indus Waters Treaty and Pakistan's diplomatic response, we are joined by Pakistan's Foreign Minister and Chair of the Foreign Relations Committee, Ms. Hina Rabbani Khar, live from Lahore. Thank you so much for joining us here on Asia One. Well, I'll begin with the first question, Ms. Khar, which is India has unilaterally suspended and threatened to alter the Indus Waters Treaty. From the legal and diplomatic perspective, how strong is Pakistan's position here?
Look, when it comes to legal matters or when it comes to international law, what India has done uh, is basically nothing, because what they have done has no space within the treaty, within treaty laws, within international law, within any even imaginary stretch of how these things operate. And India did it willfully, knowing full well, because clearly, I mean, I cannot imagine that a state like India doesn't have enough diplomats to read Article 12 of the Indus Water Treaty, which clearly articulates that until and unless a new treaty or a modified treaty is ratified by both parties, meaning both countries, have willfully entered into a negotiation, ratified, made some modifications to the treaty, made some changes, and then also ratified it. It even says, goes to the extent of saying that till the new treaty is ratified, this will remain in place. So there's absolutely, it's interesting to say that, but it's literally like for India to say we have held it in the abeyance or suspended it means literally nothing, because there is no suspension of the treaty within the treaty. There is no abeyance of the treaty within the treaty. There is no space for doing that within international law between two bilateral countries which have willfully signed this treaty, in which one country willfully gave up its right on 3 rivers, in which the other country, which is India, committed to 6 million sterling because Pakistan's water needed diversion, and it made that investment. So it was actually something which was considered to be a gold standard in a water sharing, for a water sharing model. The World Bank obviously underwrote it, but for years, I remember, the World Bank continued to give its example and try and create a similar model for countries in Africa, countries in the other developing world.
All right, now, being a former foreign minister, how do you see the diplomatic options that Pakistan have if India attempts to violate its obligations under the treaty?
Look, any country has a whole different menu of options, right? There's a moral, you know, pressure options. There are the diplomatic options. There are the legal recourse, and then there are other options also which are available. And if, as we have clearly stated repeatedly at the highest level, it is also enshrined in our policy that it's a stated policy. It's not something that we hide, and it's not something that we have just come up with since 2024 when India did this. It's something that Pakistan has been stating for the last many decades, that this is absolutely a red line. So right now India has said that it will do something. Now if India starts doing something, then obviously Pakistan has to see as to whether it wants to be a state which says it is a red line but doesn't have, the ability to ensure that a red line is a red line. Pakistan, diplomatically, obviously, first of all, I think Pakistan is doing whatever it can, whether it's at the UN, various bodies, whether it is in the General Assembly, whether it is trying to sort of extol a sense of urgency out of the European nations who have really been the upholders or the claimed upholders of international law, rules, regulations. Because if one country starts doing something like this, starts, negating the signatures of its prime minister, which has resulted in another country giving up its rights on the other 3 rivers, etc., and has gone through it for 60 plus long years, then no country will be able to trust another country. There will be no compulsion to go into treaty arrangements. Anyone can just basically, then we're saying that we are living in the law of jungle, and nothing matters. You can pretty much do anything and get away with it. And I think I am very convinced that Pakistan, inshallah, has the wherewithal to ensure that, something like this, where your lifeline is dependent, where the future of your children and your country, and literally your life, because water, the right to clean drinking water is enshrined in many conventions. It is a human right. And for one country to believe that it can get away with it, I think it's a little bit delusional and foolish on India's part. But also, I think very few people are mindful of the massive reputational hazard that comes with India's step. Because when India does something like this, it is sending a message to the whole world. It is telling them, listen, we are a rogue state. We don't abide by international law. We don't abide by commitments given by our prime minister. So tomorrow, when another country has to negotiate with India, they're deeply aware of the fact that this is a country which can turn around, make an excuse, and walk out of commitments and treaties that they've signed in which there's no space to walk out. So it's almost strategically, I believe genuinely that in the next few decades or years, if Pakistan also acts smart, I think it will be seen to be a very, very, very big strategic folly on India's part to have done that. Pretty much similar to their sort of mission, delusional, isolate Pakistan, trajectory that they went on 10 years. And now you see which country is increasingly feeling isolated within the region. And I can tell you that country is not Pakistan.
All right, Ms. Khar, shall we talk a little bit more future-oriented,
Sure.
move into that direction? Well, my last question before I finish our conversation today would be, do you believe the Indus Waters Treaty will remain intact despite the current political tensions?
Look, these are political tensions which have been created because of a country which was kind of moderate, which was generally abiding by international law, to have gone rogue. And I don't use this word lightly. I'm not used to using sloganeering. And it is the what you call the Modiization of India as a policy direction. It's not political tensions. I don't think you can call it political tensions because political tensions are when something you don't have control over. This is a direction that India of today has decided to take. We don't know whether India of tomorrow would continue to remain on that direction. And within this, I think one thing that Pakistan has to be very, very, very mindful of, and I think the chairman of the Pakistan People's Party referred to it in the conference today also, that Pakistan must not adapt to the behavior of a rogue state. So if India decides to actually, change the course of water and not give Pakistan its rightful water share, it's already started. We need to ensure that uh, beyond diplomacy also, and I'm not referring here to any sort of clandestine, no, nothing like that, but that India should be made to know that it is now escalating uh, this entire region, the South Asia region, the broader sort of, Middle East region, if you would, the broader Central Asia region, into a spiral of conflict.
Okay, well, Ms. Khar, thank you so much for joining us here on Asia One, and it was my pleasure talking to you here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.